Hello everyone, my name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. Just a couple of things before we start this card. I've got a Facebook group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. All the PDFs for these cards on my YouTube channel and for my live videos on a Saturday morning, they go into the Files tab in this Facebook group. You can request to join the group. It's got over 20,000 members in there. And when you do request to join, whatever device you're on, just be sure that you answer the two questions that are there. One is why you wish to join the group, and the other is that you agree to the rules. If you don't see those questions on whatever you're on, try changing to a different device. So if you're on your phone, try it on an iPad or a PC. You will be rejected if you don't answer the two questions, but I'm sure you'll find them in the end. And I've also got a YouTube channel, which is the one you're watching today. It's called Creative Gems. Thank you if you've been on watching before, and if you have subscribed. If you want to subscribe, just hit the little subscribe button, and if you go in there, there's a little bell there that if you can hit that, that will notify you each time my videos go up for watching. I do record my videos just for convenience and for the time that I do them, so love you for all your comments that you put through. I've also got a Facebook page. I'll quickly mention that. That's just a page there where I put all my cards that I do at my workshops and classes, and my videos that I do. It's just one that you can follow along to, so if you wish to follow that, it's called Cards by Laura. That's all the business side of it. We don't do too much on that bit. Now, the card I'm doing today, it's called an inside diagonal cut card, and you'll see why. I think they've had it with different names over the years. This one, I've changed some of the measurements on one that I did see a while ago. I've made this a little bit narrower here, so you've got more viewing up here where you can put your greeting. I didn't leave, the one I'm doing today, I've got more space to do a writing message. It'll be more space here and more space here. So you can always put a panel on the back, a white mat on there. You would just do another one of these with the mat and then the white. You could decorate the back then if you wish to. Today's card also, I'm putting a ribbon. I've got a bow and a different decoration on the front, different paper, different everything. So I hope you like that. It sits up nicely like that, and it's called a diagonal cut, inside diagonal cut. So I shall give you the measurements, and I'll show you all the pieces that I'm using today. We'll just put that up there for a minute. So these are the pieces you will need. These measurements will be in the description box of my video today, so you can get them from there, or you can take a screenshot if you wish. The full tutorial PDF will be in the Files tab in my group called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials that I mentioned earlier. So I just show you all the pieces to start with. I shall show you the paper first. This is a new online exclusive paper. It's called Lovely Garden, and there's a suite of products. I got most of the products that are in the suite, and this is the paper. Beautiful, beautiful paper. I'm using this is the pattern I'm using today with one of the other patterns as well, and you've seen I've chopped it up already. There are really nice pieces in here. Some just plain white. You could colour those leaves. I did work out that you cannot cut any of the DSP with the dies that go in the set. I tried pulling them around and having a look to see if they did cut the paper. I wouldn't have minded one of the dies if they cut some of the flowers off the paper, but they don't. This is the bundle. It's called Thankful Garden, and it die cuts all of this, these little bits in here. There is one die, and I'm yet to find out what it cuts out. It's this one here. There is no stamp in the set. You probably can't see it very well from there. this is the images. There's no set that it actually cuts out. Oh, it would cut out that. Oh, that's probably what it is. Maybe not. I'll just turn that. I don't think it cuts that out either. For memory, doesn't look like it. No, it's all different to that. It may cut that out. No, doesn't line up. I thought maybe it would cut just one individual flower. I'll try that later, but I couldn't see anywhere where it cut that flower out of the paper. None of those images. There's a few different sorts of images. None of them cut out the paper, which is sad because I do like to be able to cut some of the flowers. So that's that set. I'm using today's card. I was using some of the dies on here. This leaf, this one here, I've used some of that. I've cut out a few leaves of that. That's pretty much all in that one. And then I've also teamed it with Country Birdhouse. Excuse me. I've used this hoping you have a best day ever and the happy birthday out of that set. The dies that I've used are the Stylish Shapes dies, which is those two banner ones that nestle together. I've used those for my front greeting. I've also got some of this ribbon that I'm using. It's a seam binding ribbon. It's a freebie item. In Australia, for every $100 you spend, you can get a roll of this. It's fresh freesia ribbon. Really nice, soft ribbon for tying bows on that one. And that's a freebie item. This is an online exclusive paper. So it's just come out, and the Thankful Garden is the stamp set or the bundle that comes with it. So our pieces, my card base, I've used Garden Green, which is 8 1/4 by 5 7/8, and I'm going to score it there at 4 1/8. And then I have my mats. There's 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3. I've got them all laid out where I had them. There's 3 of these. That's in the Fresh Freesia, which is one of the colours in the paper. They are 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, 3 of. My DSP for the front, that's the pattern I've chosen there. It's 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. That's my front one. And then a basic white inside. There's 2 of those. And I did fussy cut a couple of flowers out of one of the sheets of paper, and I stamped a couple of leaves. So I've just put that up in the top corner because, as you can see, it'll leave you a lot more space up here. That's going on that side. And then this one on the other side, which I've left a bit more space up the top here. I measured down so that this was just above the cut line here, and I've got a lot more space up here to add that one. They are 5 3/8 by 3 5/8, so there's 2 of those. That's that. My inside diagonal section, which we're going to cut, it's 8 by 4 1/2, and there's scoring on that one as well. And the DSP for those, there's 4 of those. 1, 2, I've got them all over the place here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm using the reverse pattern on some. It's the same as that on that side. It's the little black spot on the other side. DSP, so this first one here is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4. They're all 1 3/4 wide. This one, the next one is 3 1/2 by 1 3/4, 3 inches by 1 3/4, and 2 1/4 by 1 3/4. So that's those. We're going to cut those in a minute. I'll show you how to cut them. And then some scrap cardstock for the greetings and decorations, and some embellishments, which I didn't get my embellishments out, but I shall get some out in a minute when we get to that. So they're the leaves I've die cut. They're for the front, to put at the front. That's my greeting on the Stylish Shapes dies. And I've got a little bow. I'm going to put a strip of ribbon across the front and a bow in the middle there, like so. We've done that bit. So I'll just get some embellishments out shortly. I thought I did get them out, but I'll have another look in a minute. So that's all the pieces you will need. And as I mentioned, the full PDF will be in my Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials page, a group, sorry, it's a group. So we shall go here first. You will need your trimmer, and we're just going to score this base at 4 1/8, which is there. Cut her out of the road, score that, fold and burnish that. We'll burnish that in a minute. And this other piece is the only piece you'll need to score, and it's getting scored at, on the 8-inch side at the top, at 2 inches, 4 inches, that one there, and 6 inches, which is that one there. So that's all the scoring you'll need to do. Put that aside. There is a little bit of cutting shortly, but I might do it freehand anyway, because it's only short pieces. So I'll burnish those. And this one here, we're burnishing the 2 outside ones. I'm going to flip that over. So these 2 outside ones will be valley folds. That one and that one. I've got a little pencil mark there, which I shall leave on that side. I'll show you that in a minute. And then the centre one will go, oh, so, sorry, the 2 outside ones are mountains. No, this way. 2 outside ones. I'm just looking at my other one. They're valleys. And I've got my pencil mark in the wrong, oh no, yeah, I'll redo the pencil mark because it's in the wrong spot. They're valleys, and the centre one here is a mountain. And I will rub out that pencil mark. I'll just get my rubber, which is right behind me. I'll just move that. Actually, it probably is, no, it goes this way. So we shall do the front of this first. I've got my front mat and my front DSP, and that goes on there. Some liquid glue will be fine. I've got a brand new bottle, so it'll probably come out a little bit thick to start with. Just finely around the edge, a tiny bit in the middle. I don't like to use too much heavy glue. I find it buckles the paper if you make it too thick. It's pretty much too wet, and it tends to buckle everything and goes soggy. So long as it's fine, and it will still adhere down nicely. So that's that. I might put the greeting on later. Actually, I will put my ribbon across before I forget. So I'm just it's going down the bottom, fair way down, and I shall use my seal for that. Could use a bit of tape. I find glue doesn't work really well on ribbon, so I'm going to use this. Just a couple of strips down there where the ribbon is, and we can put that across there. I'll at least put that one on first, because that's always the thing I forget to do, is put my ribbon across. Make it a little bit straight, and then we can put that onto the front. Not too thick, Laura. It's a new bottle, so it's coming out quite thick compared to what I'm used to. So that will go on the front. I've got the ribbon down the bottom. I'm going to put the greeting a little bit towards the top part. So that's that piece. I'll do the little bow later and the greeting. We've got all that on. Very pretty paper. I love the colours in this. They don't mention the blue colour that's there. I think they did say it was blueberry bushel, but that to me looks like balmy blue, not blueberry bushel. So these mats in here, this mat first, they need to go in first before we do that, the other cross piece. So those two will go in there, and just remember, if you want a panel on the back, just do another one of those the same size. I'll put those down. They need to go down before you put your cross piece on, because you will not get them in after. And I just fussy cut a couple of little flowers. I stamped the leaves in garden green on the basic white, and then there's a die that, actually I think the dies, they give you, I'm pretty sure, yes, 1, 2, 3 bunches of leaves, and they've got 1, 2, 3 little individual leaves in the set. So if you're doing classes or workshops like I do, it is such a bonus to have more than one die of those little pieces, because otherwise they've got to wind through several times to get, you don't always just use one leaf. So it's a bonus when you get you've got 3 of each of the leaf dies. I just would have liked at least one die to cut out some of the flowers, but they're pretty easy. They're nice big open flowers, so it wouldn't take much to fussy cut them. One page, the flowers are all individual on the page. They're not overlapping each other, so they wouldn't be hard to fussy cut. They're quite a good shape, not a lot of detail. Well, there is a bit on some of the flowers, but they're not too bad. I've had worse, and I don't mind fussy cutting. I'll put that one in there. I hope everyone is well. Still quite warm here. I'm going to on stage in a couple of weeks' time. It's in Brisbane this time, which is handy for me as I live in Brisbane. Well, I live in Logan, which is one of the suburbs of Brisbane, but it's not far from the centre of Brisbane, about 45-minute drive in there, depends on the traffic. Now, this one here, it's going in here, but we need to cut. I shouldn't have folded those first, but it won't matter. Leave them flat until we cut. So this is where I marked on the back, but I didn't need to. On this, I'm going to, on the right-hand side of this piece, I'm going to measure up 1.5 inches. I'll just double check my measurements to make sure I've got it right. Yes, up 1.5 inches on this side, on the right-hand side. And my pencil, oh, I've missed it. Oh, pencil's over here. Just missed a few things this morning. 1.5 inches is there. So now I'm going to cut from that pencil line up to this point, the opposite point. So I'll put my point in the track there. Just move that around so it's down there in the track. Just keep manoeuvring it around until you get both points. Now I don't want to drag from this point, so I'm going to start at this end to cut, or you could start in the middle and go up and down. I don't ever start cutting from a point. You'll find it'll drag, especially DSP, it'll drag your paper. So that piece, it's not much good for anything, or maybe this end piece, because it's but it's got score lines all the way across, but you could use that for leaves or something to cut out if you want to keep that. So I'll just rub out that little bit of a pencil mark. So now we have that, which is going in there. It goes from this mat to this mat when we put it in eventually, and you'll see it'll close up like so. Now we need to get the DSP to line up with those, and I've alternated the patterns. So this is the only tricky bit, and I would fold these now and burnish so that you've got a line there that you can follow with. Otherwise it's a bit hard to see your score lines. Now I'm going to lay this in between. I've got an even border sideways that way, and it's got the 1/8 inch border at the bottom. So if you work it right, the point of that there should be on that cut line, not on all of the patterns, but on this first one here, it will be there. Now I found this was the easiest way. I know another lady did it this way as well. I found if you just move this up about the same width again, and you can judge here, it's about the same width there, keeping it on the sides there. Then I'm going to pick it up, keeping it nice and straight. So you virtually double the distance down here from there to the bottom. Flip it over, holding it tight, and just rule a pencil line across there. And then I'm going to cut that. I'm just going to freehand cut it because I know I can see the pencil line and it's not hard to cut. And you won't see that little bit of a pencil line there because it's getting flipped over. Then we can put that back in there, and as you can see, it's a nice border all the way around. So that's the first one. The second one, I've got this spot design. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So if you've got your normal border, that point there is going on to the slant section of there. Then you're going to double that. So just put another same width border up above that on there. Pick it up, flip it over. If it does happen to move, you can always put it back again and start again. Draw a line across there and go across there. I thought of just measuring down this side how much it is, but it was a lot of mucking around with measurements, and that would have been 1/8 of an inch there, but I would have had to measure how much that was, and it's really easy to just flip it over. And we'll just double check it here. So we had that one and then that one, and they sit perfect. We won't bother checking the other two, we'll just do them. So I'm back to the original pattern. This one here, now the point doesn't go there, but if you put your 1/8 inch measurement all the way around, it will work out fine. I could have made this one a bit shorter, but it works out easy. Draw a line across there, cut that piece off. This is the only fiddly bit that you need to do. Try and get a nice straight cut. And that's that one. And then the last one, which will be on the small section. And it is same there, it's above, the point doesn't match up with that. So just go above there, same distance. I think that's about right. Pick that up, flip it over, draw your line and cut it off. You won't see the line at the back, so if you want a darker line, use a pen. It's not going to matter, you won't see it when you're finished, it's going to be stuck down. So we're going to have those 4 across there. How easy is that? Just double check. See, that one I didn't get perfectly right. I'm going to cut it again a little bit. I should have checked it before, and then so the slant is right. Maybe I didn't move it down that 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to just freehand cut this 1/8 of an inch all the way across. Maybe I didn't move it, I'm not sure what I did there. But you can tidy it up after if you don't feel it's right. Just trying to line the bottom up together. Take a fraction more off. The beauty of checking as you go. I've got the angle right, it's just a smidge difference. That is much better. And this one here could be out, but maybe not. So line it up with the bottom. Yes, I'll take a fraction more off that one. Just a little bit of tidying up to do. Much better. So I've got the even borders all the way. Then you can stick those down. And there's not much more to do to the inside. Actually, I've got those leaves I'm decorating the inside with those, not the outside. I just remembered that, so we'll get to that in a minute. So that one's on there. Try and get your borders nice around the edges. You could use all the same pattern across your across each piece. You could do 4 different patterns if you wish. You could emboss cardstock and put on here. A couple of ideas if you want to change it up a bit. It doesn't. I just found it was sort of toned in nicely. I can see my excess glue there. That will dry in a sec. So lots of ideas of different ways to decorate. You could put a little greeting on one of the panels. Just decorate with flowers the way I've done the previous one. That one there's got little flowers, and I did put little, they're fairly flat, they're sequins on those, and they're quite flat, so it didn't take up too much bulk inside. You've got plenty of bulk with this. It does fit in a standard size envelope, but you've got a little bit of thickness, so it would probably cost you a little bit more for postage if you're posting it, because of the thickness. But if you're not too worried about that, then go for it. This bottle of glue comes out really thick. Trying not to use too much. And that's that last one on there. And these leaves, they weren't going on the front. I didn't like them on the front. I've got one for here and not one from there. That's right, I was going to cut this one down a little bit because it's a little bit too long, and that one can go on there. So I'll just put tiny little bits of glue on this, if we can get tiny bits out without it blurting everywhere. I should have my silicone mat down, but especially with this new pot of glue. Move up so I'm in view of what I'm doing. These leaves are quite plenty of room to put glue on, which I'm doing too much. Tweezers. I'll just put that one on the white section. I will get my silicone mat just to push it down. I always put this over the top so you're not putting your fingers all over and oozing out with glue on your fingers. It won't matter if it goes onto the mat. That's not too bad. The glue will dry clear. Now this one here, I'm going to cut it a little bit because it's got too much overhang. I'll cut that off there, and I shall just shape this leaf here around, which is a little bit squarish. I'll just try and trim it down so it looks a little bit more shaped like a leaf, and that will fit in there. Always cut something down to fit. Now I will use my mat. Trying not to squeeze the bottle. I'm used to it just coming out really fine when it's almost empty. Grab some glue from the other leaf. That's going around that way. Just gives you a little bit more detail on the plain white. So that's the inside decorated. Now we can put the lid on the glue. Bring in this piece here. And as I mentioned before, it goes from the mat here, level with the bottom mats, and level with this mat at the side. It doesn't, it does go perfectly flat. But I'll show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to bunch that up, put some glue on this smallest panel here. We'll do this right hand side first. So a little bit of glue, a little bit, Laura. Glue on there. Take that back that way. Now I'm just lining this up in this corner and parallel with that fresh freesia mat. On the bottom and on the sides. So just slide it in there, hold it for a minute or a few seconds. Just trying to move it down a fraction. You can bring that across and push it down. I won't open it yet. And then I'm going to put glue all over this piece, a longer piece on the other end. Now it's starting to work better, it's not so thick. I've used a fair bit, I don't mind, because it's wants to hold it down. All you do is close that one shut. You don't need to open it and move it the other side, just leave it folded shut. Put the lid on my glue while I'm waiting. And then I've just got my little bits on the front to do. All that can go aside. I do love this paper. I love every pattern in this paper. It is so pretty. It's on pre-order at the moment, so you have to be a demonstrator to get it, but I think it might be early March when it goes live to everybody. So I can get 2 packs, which I'm hoping to get another pack before while pre-order's on, because I'm using one of the papers in for a card in my next workshop, which is very pretty. And then that's going on there. No extra decoration there. I will get some embellishments out, and this can go on here. I could have done that ribbon up a little bit higher, but it's not a problem. It's not hanging over. I'm going to attach it with some glue dots, or a glue dot in the center here, and then just pop it on there, like so. Might just trim the ends of the, just get my ribbon scissors that are nice and sharp. I'll just trim that one and that one at just a fraction. So that's that. Actually, I might put another glue dot underneath the cross piece of ribbon as well, just to hold the whole thing down, because I can see it's wobbling around like so. I've already put my dimensional backs on, or the dimensionals on the back. Just remove the backings. There's that little bit of ribbon just appeared. It's on my finger. It's stuck to my finger. Take all those off. Just a simple front piece, nothing too. I've got the busy background, so I didn't want to put too much on the front. If I had a plain background, I would decorate the front a little bit more, but I don't want it too busy. I want to be able to see the lovely paper. So that's that. Now, just bear with me for 1 second. I know what embellishments I'm going to use. These ones. There's some here that are free with every $100 spend in Australia. It's in the Celebration catalogue at the moment. They are called Purple Adhesive Back Sequins, and I think some of these here are supposed to be Fresh Freesia. That's Berry Burst. I think that's Pretty in Pink, and that's more of a like a variegated pinky one, but they're very pretty. And I shall scatter some of those around. It's the same ones I used on this one here. Same embellishments. I'll put some on there. Because they're free, you can be a little bit generous. I'll put some on these flowers. Not that you can see them. Give a nice little sparkle to the flower. There's not really any down there. And one up in the corner, that will do. Very pretty. There is another flower there. Looks odd that it hasn't got one. Feeling left out. So that is my card for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Just don't forget, you can trim these little bits if they're not exactly how you want them. The measurements I thought were correct, but obviously I didn't line it up very well on here. But that's my card for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots more room up here to do a bit of writing. You could do up here and down here. So this one was a little bit busy. I also put a strip of that down the bottom here and then realised, as you can see in there, but you won't see, I put it in there and then you could see it when you look down, but it was a bit of a waste putting it there. Didn't realise until after I'd done it that didn't need to put it on. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what I do, and I shall catch you all again next Monday at 9 AM. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.